Welcome back, everybody, to another great episode of Banter on the Rocks. Got myself Tim here today, as well as John, as always.
Mhm.
And it's Monday, February 3rd, taping of this episode. So all of our takes will certainly come from this day and in the past. On today's episode, we have a number of topics we're going to bring up today. Really interesting past week. We'll be talking about the Super Bowl preview, kind of keyed this in last week. We're stoked for this Sunday. Can't wait. It's national holiday over here in the States. NBA and NFL news. Got the Grammys, so we're going to recap that. And just more entertainment news, which is definitely going to include that Baldoni Lively Reynolds
Yep.
um, scenario going on. So we're excited to talk about that. And we have much more. And before we get on with the show, we want to discuss our brand ambassadorship, of course. We are brand ambassadors for Find the Good brand. And Find the Good brand is focused on the good and building a community of people who want to help find that good. For all purchases, Find the Good gives back 10% of all purchases back to Mental Health of America organization. When you order, use our promo code BANTER805 and you'll get an additional 10% off of your first purchase and more. Um, Quick reminder, 10% goes to Mental Health of America organization, 10% back into your pocket with that purchase as well. It's a great brand. It's been storming up here. We're just talking about that with John. I was
Mhm.
rocking that sweater all weekend. And the hat as well came in clutch. Whenever it's sunny, whenever it wants to be again. I don't know when.
Yep.
Um, but it's great merch. Great stuff. And also, we want to share that we are holding our first giveaway. We hinted at this last week, and when we hit our first 300 subscribers on YouTube, we will be having that giveaway. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. In the description, of course, is going to be in this YouTube episode, as it is always. And we're really excited, looking forward to that one. We're kind of still
Mhm.
brainstorming exactly what the giveaway will be, but I know it's going to be definitely worth your while. So, yeah, exciting stuff there. Now moving on to the drinks of the week. I will start us off here. Last time I wasn't drinking, recovering
Mhm.
from stomach illness, gently getting my way back into things, trying to envision that, I'm still in Cancun, of course, Niners aren't
Yeah.
there. So, rocking Modelo still. And, or actually, no, my bad, not Modelo, Pacifico.
Okay.
We're going with
Nice.
Pacifico this week. Nice little touch.
Yeah, that's a
But yeah.
nice little crisp drink to have.
Hmm.
But yeah, today I'm rocking my other cup. It's been a long weekend for me. Kiddo's birthday party. For some reason, I felt like a truck hit me from all the planning and everything, so I just needed a little extra than our other cup. So I did we had some Jamaica left over, so it's Jamaica with some tequila. So nice little mixture, staying cool.
Yeah,
Rain's
bougie.
about rain's about to hit in a bit for us, I think. So um I'm excited for it. I enjoy the rain, so I don't know how many other people do. But I'm a big fan of it.
I feel like people who like it more are folks who live in, I don't know, California, where we don't
Hmm.
get that much of it.
Yeah.
So it's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just telling John, like I said, storming up here, so it's nice that you guys need it down there. I mean,
Yeah, we
after all
need it.
those fires, so that's definitely a welcome thing for you.
Yeah, no, we need it. So yeah, we're welcoming it. It'll be good. I think we just got to be careful with the mudslide. So hopefully everybody in fire affected areas, still be cautious, enjoy the weather, but still be careful with the mudslides because that's always a after effect of these fires during the season for us. But yeah, but we'll get started and we'll go into our banter takes. So our banter takes is where we exchange takes. We don't see this beforehand. We're reading it as we're reading it here on the episode, and we'll always discuss it. So, all right. So, my first take of today's episode: LeBron James is the biggest liar in all of sports. There is no way he was not aware of the AD and Luka trade. I, you
Wow.
know, LeBron James, I don't think we've talked about him much here on this pod. We're not Laker fans. We'll talk about him every now and then. I think we've talked more Bronny than
Mhm.
LeBron on our show.
True.
Um, But what I've always seen from LeBron, I have always felt like he is the GM coach of the Lakers since he joined, what was it, like 7 years ago. So, um,
Mhm.
him being told that he wasn't made aware, I think it's totally false. Yes, he might have not been aware of it at the beginning, but Rob Pelinka called LeBron and, hey, I have this offer up. What do you think? And LeBron had to give his okay to trade AD because he's the one that wanted AD. He won a championship with him. But I think the writing's been on the wall. LeBron wants someone else. Wasn't AD anymore, and him saying he was caught off surprise. I think when he got that phone call from Pelinka, he was caught off surprise, but he did make that decision along with the rest of the Laker organization. So, um, I think he does it to save face with AD, make it seem like he was surprised. Um, but I don't think he doesn't have a say in this trade. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, where I call bullshit is where, he just has a long history of doing this. Most recently, he was prior to the draft selecting Bronny. He's like, "Oh, I don't care to play with my
Hmm.
son," and acted like it wasn't a big deal. But then we hear about Rich Paul
Hmm.
only selecting certain teams to go out and work out
Yeah.
Bronny in that offseason. And it just was so clear that it was a huge deal to him.
Yeah.
So, him kind of backtracking and, saying he was so totally caught off guard and, was just completely unaware of this Luka trade. I mean, he just finished a post-game conference where I guess he described AD as the best player on the team
Hmm.
and that they need him, blah blah blah. Which I don't know, we'll take it as you will, but there's no way that he describes somebody like that and then he has so much involvement in a
Hmm.
team, even to go as far as drafting his son who's clearly not ready for the NBA
Yeah.
to um, trade away your best player
Hmm.
for a guy like Luka. Obviously, everybody with
Yeah.
brain would accept that trade, but at the same time, he's aware of everything in and out of that organization. There's no
Yeah.
way Pelinka has say over him. And, additionally, on top of that, rumors have it, at least from what I've been hearing on the radio this week, old school like that. I listen to the radio still.
Nice.
I was hearing that I guess there was, some, I don't know, mental fatigue LeBron's been having with AD, and he was just kind
Hmm.
of getting tired of AD playing with him in general.
Yeah.
He's denied that, denied that, denied that. But I don't know. Timing's interesting. Obviously, Mavs were the ones who reached out regarding this, but
Hmm.
hey, I mean, good on the Lakers for accepting the trade, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think LeBron knows a lot more than he says.
Yeah. And I'll even put it out this way. LeBron knew before even the Dallas Mavericks and Lakers knew.
There you go.
Rich Paul is the
Hmm.
mastermind of everything, and he knew what he was trying to do. And I think that's why Dallas only reached out to the Lakers because that's what Rich Paul said. So Rich Paul's influence on the NBA is big. So calling cap, like you said, calling bullshit. LeBron, you knew. Don't don't hide it. We all know it. Don't act like
Yeah,
you're innocent. You're not. And like I say, don't even be offended by it because I think in sports, when you're that type of player, LeBron caliber type of player, you're gonna make the decisions, and people are gonna listen to you because they want to keep you because they know if they make you unhappy, you're gone, and nobody wants to lose a LeBron type player. I think for the Warriors, if Steph would ask for, I want this player traded for this player, you guys, Dunleavy's going to do whatever he has to make that happen because he knows if he doesn't, Steph is going to walk. And you guys don't want that.
absolutely. Yeah, no, certain players have certain say,
Hmm.
and not saying LeBron was wrong here, but
Yeah.
definitely calling bullshit
Yeah.
on him. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. LeBron, don't be a liar. Just be straight up.
Yeah, just be honest. It's okay. You can do that.
Yeah.
All right. So, kind of keeping here on the same topic with teams involved. My hot take is Mark Cuban will buy the Mavericks back and make them a winning franchise again. For all front office personnel, he will have a Shark Tank presentation where they need to pitch why they should stay on the team, and Nico Harrison will misspell Mark Cuban's name. The same exact way he did Stephon Curry.
Stephon
O-N,
Curry.
not, yeah, great. Good job
Yeah.
at the Nike presentation, Nico. Idiot. Um, yeah, it's yeah, Mark Cuban. I mean, God, maybe he can pull like Dave Portnoy at Barstool buying
hmm
back Barstool for $1. Might as
hmm
well do it with the Mavs because that's a poverty franchise at this point.
Yes.
And he was the whole reason for their success. I literally Luka had them on the verge of an NBA Finals last season.
hmm
But no, let's go ahead and make this drastic change because that wasn't enough, and
Yeah.
we're not on the right track. Anyways, we'll get more into that in the future. But
hmm
yeah, Mark Cuban, he's just a great owner. He's super involved. He knows the team in and out. He's a great human being. He's great with his money, and
Yeah.
he knows how to spend. And spending brings championships. And being a cheap ass like Nico's going to be isn't going to give you shit.
Yeah.
And so this kind of goes at a parallel to a take that I wanted to bring up this week, that the Mavericks are now the Oakland A's of the
Mm,
NBA. They have
okay.
dealt away Jalen Brunson over the last couple of years,
hmm
who could be very well on his way to a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
They've done the same now with Luka, and AD isn't gonna. This is nothing more than a pit stop for him. He's not gonna re-sign with them. He's gonna bounce as soon as this year's probably over.
hmm
And if Nico is gonna be this cheap with a franchise, I don't know. You can't do it in Dallas. Dallas is a historic team. It's a big team. It's a big city. Clearly, the fans don't like this dude, and I can't even spell people's names right. Like,
Yeah.
you can be an absolute icon like Stephen Curry and misspell his name and not proofread that. That's unreal. And I don't know. It's win everything this year or go home for
Mm,
Nico.
It is.
That's just the way it needs to be. But
Yeah.
yeah, my take is that, Cuban absolutely needs to go ahead and buy this team back, and I think Dallas will love that. And next is, yeah, they're literally the A's. You might as well not buy a jersey for any player on that team unless their name is Dirk Nowitzki at this point, because
Yeah.
he's the only one that will be a lifetimer. Everybody else, you're gonna see you later in 2 years because you're gonna trade them away. And what a
hmm
disappointment that is. That's why I left being a fan of the A's and went towards a team like the Giants, because at least they're a little bit more loyal to their players and you can have a lasting jersey
hmm
instead of, I don't know, it's like a rental every single time. Never get your hopes
No.
up. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's a good take. I think that's their only savior at this point is having Mark Cuban come back, the
hmm
Cubes, and that's about it. But Dallas is down bad,
Dallas
really
is
bad.
the Cowboys, the
Man,
Mavericks. I don't know how the Stars are doing, but
it's
probably not well. I haven't even heard of them so in a while.
yeah, I feel like I think they made it to the Stanley a couple years
Okay.
ago. But yeah, for some reason, I feel like they're not that good this year. But I have to
Yeah.
double check. But yeah, you're right.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll
But
see.
yeah, no,
I hope Mark Cuban does go back to buying the Mavericks because he did change that franchise for the better with Dirk. He got them a championship. I think they probably could have won more if they did a little bit better, building around Dirk. But this trade, and like you mentioned, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in detail later on the show, but it was bad. I think Mark Cuban, great businessman. He's going to take that Shark Tank mentality, make these people really pitch why they should stay at this organization. Because after this trade, everybody there is on the chopping block. So we'll see what happens.
absolutely. Hopefully, they all get individual pitches because if
Mhm.
anybody has to team up with Nico,
Mhm.
I mean, we saw Jason Kidd's reaction to that press
Yeah.
conference that he was like trying to drag him down with him. It's like, nah,
Nah.
Jason Kidd was like, dude, what are you doing? I fly on the wall after that press conference,
Yeah.
I swear. But yeah, no, hey. Shark Tank, it needs to be a good pitch, and I think
Hmm.
that'd get some views. That'd
Oh
be a
yeah.
great idea.
Yeah. All right. My next take, Jameis Winston will be the next big TV icon once he retires. Um, I don't think he needs to wait till he retires. I think he already is the biggest icon in the NFL. You know, some of his takes, some of his sayings, just his personality. I think it's awesome. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy watching him play too. He's been a great player. You know, still not a starter full time, but still making plays, making runs. You know, and he's just a genuine guy. Um, I don't. I think I saw some of him. Was it Hard Knocks this year that he was on it for a bit, or last year? But
Might have been last year.
yeah, but I remember
Not
seeing him,
100%.
you know, with his family. He just seems like a chill, genuine guy, just trying to work hard for his family. So kudos to him. Um, you know, one person that sort of reminds me right now that I think he'll take over. I see Cam Newton doing a lot of like, you know, TV. He's a great personality. Those hats he wears, kudos to him. They're ex crazy hats, you know, and he wears it for everything. Um, I'm
Mhm.
watching, I don't know if you watched the show, World's Toughest Tim. It's a TV show where celebrities go
No.
and they do like Army Ranger training to see if they
Oh,
get through it.
saw a
And
clip of that.
yeah, and
Yes.
Cam's in this new season, and when he does his interviews, he's wearing the hat, and I'm like, seriously, dude, you're still wearing that hat. So I think Jameis Winston could be maybe at a bigger level than Cam because of his personality, how likable he is. I think Cam Newton was always a great guy, but I think he had this like tough attitude, which, you know, I think rubbed some people the wrong way, where I think Jameis Winston, everywhere he goes, everybody loves him. So it's really gonna be I think he'll have a great career after football ends for him in TV, in broadcastings, you know, whatever it is, sideline reporting, social media, even reality star.
For sure. Yeah, in Cam's hats will add like 2 feet to your height. I mean,
Yeah.
those things are humongous. His is
Yeah.
obviously probably filled with hair. Mine would just be straight air,
Yeah.
just absolutely nothing in there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
like I don't know, like my wallet.
Yeah, put your wallet. I think
Put that
like
on there.
if you go to like the desert or Vegas, you got to put like some cold air in there just so it keeps your head cool
Yeah.
during the hot days.
Oh yeah.
So,
Have
but
like a
yeah, no,
cooler, have some
yeah,
brewskis up there.
yeah. But
Absolutely.
yeah, Jameis Winston. I think he will be the next big thing. I already think he is. He's a name everybody knows. So we'll see what
Yeah,
comes for
and
him.
he had a great day today at the Super Bowl media day where he's out there, he's like throwing W cookies to everybody, the famous W, like, licking his W.
Yeah.
And he threw one to like Travis Kelce, Devontae Smith, and he asked Nick Sirianni, like, oh, where should I quarterback next? And and I think he asked Saquon the same thing, and Saquon actually said, "Oh, the Giants are looking for a quarterback." So that was a good solid burn by Saquon. I like that. So,
Nice.
he just seemed great in front of the camera. He always
Hmm.
does, and fun guy. So,
Yeah.
all right, moving on to my next take. The MTV Movie and Music Awards will make a comeback. With how bad some of these award shows have been, people will go back to MTV because it is more about what the people feel and not the corrupt industries. Yeah, this take is 100% valid. MTV Music Awards were phenomenal back in the day.
Hmm.
And it's a shame that, we've gotten back to these, like, I don't know how you want to describe it, more of a formal get together,
Hmm.
whether it's Golden Globes, Grammys, you name it. And it just kind of turns into like, oh, what the hell is that person wearing?
Hmm.
To why did they win? Oh, clearly money's involved for that
Hmm.
win. There's no way that, and then it creates this controversy where, you and I talk about it, where
Hmm.
it's like, there's no way that record should have won
Yeah.
and it should have gone to this person instead. And it does. It just genuinely seems like it's controlled by
Hmm.
the industry. And that's a shame because the industry feels super out of touch a lot of times. And they just want to literally buy up the air around music. And that's why
Hmm.
it's so tough for like these
Yeah.
singers to even to get the monetization or ownership of their own music back.
Hmm.
And MTV was just fun. Like back in the day, the hosts were great.
Yeah.
They were a lot more loose, I feel like. And yeah, it's just a lot better time. So I hope that they definitely make a comeback. And I don't know, would you invite a guy like Carson Daly to keep on doing it? I
I,
didn't he do some of the Grammys yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I think Carson Daly is still very relevant in, some
Oh, he
media.
is.
I know he was doing like a late night show for some time. I don't know if he's still doing it,
Mhm.
but he's still one person. You bring him back with some of those old MTV personalities. It
Uh,
could be a hit. I know they still go on, but I don't think they're as popular as they used to be. I don't think people talk about it as
mhm.
much, and like your take, there's been a lot of corruption in the industry, I feel as well, where people win and it seems more because of popularity, because of money, not because of the like quality of the work. Because, like I said, I think we'll talk a
Mhm.
little bit about the Grammys of what we saw and where it sort of I think, pushes us to sort of think this, like, what's the next big thing? And even though this will never go away, I think there's some people in the industries that are shying away from this. I saw a clip, and I think this was a few years ago, but Eminem talking about how he'll never go back to the Grammys because of how corrupt it is. He's okay with losing to people like 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Snoop, because their quality of work, it's at his level. So, but losing to someone that isn't even at that level and it's more a political reason, it pushed him away. So he says he'll never go back to the Grammys, even if they invite him 1,000 times, he'll say no. And they even asked him, like, how about if he was part of the party that was choosing the winners? He's like, no, because it's still corrupt. There's always going to be a way that they get who they want to win, not based off popularity, who's good, based off money and what the system wants.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and that's so boring. It's going to literally
Hmm.
take more people like Eminem for this to change. But I don't, I don't know. Money always talks. So
Money talks. Yeah.
Eminem's definitely in a position where he can deny it and not
Yeah.
go. But yeah, no, it's going to take a lot. It's
Yeah.
a bummer.
Yeah.
It's not as fun to watch. MTV was
Yeah.
so good.
It was.
It's like the Kids' Choice Awards for adults. You might as well just like
Hmm.
bring slime into it.
It'd be funny. That'd be
That would be.
hilarious. I think they got to bring back the skits. I still remember the Borat one, or
Oh yeah.
what was he in? I don't know what his character was, or it might have been Borat, but like falling on Eminem with like just his underwear, like stuff like that
Oh
made it
yeah.
fun, you know.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, skits. Yeah, like I said, it's like more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it just seems so uptight and formal.
Hmm.
You're more or less just watching for like, I don't know, bizarre outfits.
Yeah,
Watching Kanye get kicked out.
yeah,
Um,
watching Kanye kick.
you name it.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, that's a good take, Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
well,
thanks. Yeah, that was a good one, John.
all right. That I only had two
I
takes for you. I know you have another one, or
I do, yeah. Yeah, I'll give it to you here. Um,
oh,
let's see. Just a moment. It's a pretty quick one, and I think a lot of our viewers will just agree with this
oh,
because I think most people do.
okay. Next
More of a
take. Can't
statement.
cancel the promo immediately. I think that's pretty much all we have to say. Cancel it. I don't
Yeah.
even the replays. I skip through them. Even on TikTok, when I see Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
I don't really care. Um,
Absolutely.
now I think they need to do something to make it popular again. Because I remember when I was, all for the Pro Bowl, wanting to watch it, but the last few years, I've been, no, I'm okay. I got better things to do on my Sunday than watch flag football, watch Jackson Smith throwing a pick. Like, no, that's not what I'm there to do. So
Watching,
either
oh, but Eli gets a cooler of Gatorade on his back. Oh my God. Wow. That's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, so for I think cancel it or find a way to make it popular again because this isn't working. Now, NFL, if you want us to go out next year and sort of try to promote, like, hey, we will do that. We will try to bring it back alive. But from what I saw this year, I'm on board to canceling it immediately. But hey, you want to have some conversation? Let's talk. Let's see how we can make the Pro Bowl
Absolutely.
better again.
I would rather, couple points here. I
Hmm.
would, instead of just this whole Pro Bowl thing, make the Pro Bowl more of a awards show type thing where you're like, hey, with his 10th Pro Bowl
Hmm.
selection, TJ Watt, whatever,
Yeah.
and then have it kind of like that. But then just let them roast each other and then like give points to each side. I would rather see like people flame their teams
Yeah.
and just roast each other back and
That'd
forth
be funny.
than like watch them go play dodgeball or tug of war.
Yeah.
And I think that would be more fun. And I think
Mhm.
everybody likes a good roast.
Yeah.
The roast of Tom Brady was great. You name it. They overdid it for a little
Mhm.
bit, but I feel like you could have a great time with that.
Yeah.
And have it uncensored. Don't put
Hmm.
it on like standard cable. Put it on like I don't know,
Net
HBO or something where they can
Netflix.
cuss. They can really let loose.
Hmm.
Let them have some booze, smoke a stogie, whatever. Let them have fun. I would
Yeah.
appreciate that. And then point number two is if you're going to keep these games, get rid of that stupid target game, like where they're like the quarterbacks are throwing at those
Mhm.
targets that are moving. Nobody likes that. Dan Orlovsky nearly hit every single one. That dude ran
Yeah.
out of bounds, got his own safety at one point in his career. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Bring back, excuse my French, bring back the fucking deep throw, like the long toss.
Hmm.
See how many fucking yards. I want to see how far,
Yeah.
I don't know, Mahomes or Russell Wilson can throw a football down the field.
Hmm.
That's way more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Cancel
No, yeah, they need to do something
it.
better. Like I say, it's not great anymore. Like I say, I wouldn't even let my kid watch it. I'd be like, no, we're gonna watch something else. And like I say, nothing against the NFL. We love the NFL. We love watching football. It's something
Oh
we
yeah.
talk about a lot. So, but the Pro
Mhm.
Bowl is just one of those negatives about NFL, you could say. So hopefully it gets better. Like I say, you guys need some help. You guys want us to promote, hit us up. We'll go out there. We'll make some great videos for you guys trying to
Yeah.
bring it back.
That's why we're so Yeah, that's why we're so animated about this because we
Yeah,
love the NFL that much. We have great ideas.
yeah,
Clearly that roast,
yeah.
hey,
Man, could go
let them
well.
talk it out. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be a little dangerous though. After a few stogies, a few drinks, some of the
True.
comments may get a
Yeah.
little, but it'd be
PR
fun to
might be going
watch.
crazy. Yeah.
Roger
I don't know,
Goodell's
even
gonna
put
be,
like yeah, dude, he's gonna be shitting himself. But
yeah.
like you could have like maybe even the players that are retiring that year,
Hmm.
have them get in on it
Yeah.
because then it's like, all right, then you're not as liable with the NFL. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then it's a bunch
We'll,
of geezers going back and
yeah.
forth.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, hopefully they start making changes. I think their ratings haven't looked, but I'm guessing they weren't that great. I don't think it's been great for a while. So
Yeah.
uh we'll see. But that's our banter takes. And to go on to our next, just our next segment, sticking with football, Super Bowl. We're gonna give you guys our Super Bowl preview. Super Bowl's coming up this week. Big week for NFL because it's the final game of the season. Then we gotta wait a few months until we start hearing about the off season. But overall, first, Eagles versus Chiefs. What do you think of the game, Tim? Who do you have winning?
Certainly good rematch of 2023. Excited for that. That was a good game. I think that was 35-34. I think it was
Hmm.
literally 1 point game, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we talk about the Chiefs so much, and
Hmm.
it's not really for the good. It's just there we recognize greatness. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong. I,
Yeah.
I feel like I can speak for us both here, John, that we recognize Mahomes, Kelsey, they're going to be Hall of Famers. It's great.
Hmm.
Andy Reid, congratulations. But I want to see them lose really
Yeah.
badly. Pay back my Niners need. Pay back your Ravens need from last year
Yeah.
and then week one. You know, I think a lot of people want to see them lose. So I'm going to go Eagles.
Hmm.
And I'm going
Okay.
to go Eagles 34-26. I think
Okay.
that offense will come alive. I think Saquon runs all over that defense. James Cook, if they would have let him keep going, I think he could have,
Hmm.
definitely ran for, I don't know, 150 plus yards. So
Yeah.
Saquon's even better. And let him loose. Just
Hmm.
let him freaking loose. And I think the Eagles defense will come up big enough against Mahomes. But
Hmm.
again, one thing I'm going to really, really, really pay attention to is offensive line holding
Hmm.
with the Chiefs because number 74 on the right side, that
It
dude
gets away.
close arms all day. And he did it against Bosa.
Uh-huh.
And, he just helmet could go flying and they won't call shit. So, yeah, I'm going to pay a lot of attention
Hmm.
to O line, D line, when Chiefs have the ball. It's going to be a big
Yeah.
one. But yeah, I'll go 34-26 in favor of the Eagles.
All
Go
right.
Birds this week
Nice.
only.
Only this
How about
week.
you, John? This week
Yeah.
only.
It's like you say, it's gonna be a good game. Um, I sort of think of it the way everybody's talking about the Dodgers right now. Everybody hates the Dodgers, but I'm like, you want to see them lose. That's what makes the sport so interesting, and that's where we're at right now with the Chiefs. We want to see them lose. It'll make it so much more fun for a lot of us other than Chiefs fans, Swifties. Um, but yeah, I have the Eagles winning. I think, it is a rematch of 2 years ago, and Eagles have pretty much the same team other than Saquon. I think their defense has been upgraded, especially with the rookies that they got, and their defensive back. So I think they have everything to win it. Whereas the Chiefs, there's been a lot of changes. Their offense is totally different other than Kelsey, all the wide receivers. They haven't been to that big show, so um or they've been to it, but they've never been the big players, It's always been about Mahomes, Kelsey. So I think their luck runs out. But yes, it's gonna have to be a hopefully it doesn't come into a referee game. Those offensive holding lines, even just not being, lining up incorrectly and not getting the calls for the Chiefs is something we've seen as well. So, it'll be a fun game. I'm excited about it. I have Eagles winning 28-25 field goal game. Elliott is going to make up for a lot of his losses, so um, it'll be good. But yeah, I think overall Mahomes will have a good game. I think Kelsey had pretty low games, the AFC Championship against the Bills, but he didn't need to do much.
Mhm.
I think this game he'll break out because I also think it's his final game. I think he might retire after this year. So, I think Mahomes wants to win with him one more time. Um, but Saquon, I think Saquon's on another level this year. And I want to see our take come true of, the Giants fire. I hate to say it, firing Joe Schoen for
Yeah.
the mistake he made. It's unfortunate, but it's what you have to pay for losing a generational player like Saquon.
Yeah. Just being an idiot, and not listening to his own son
Yeah,
either. It was like a double whammy
yeah, it
as
was.
as we talk about a lot. But yeah, and a big thing here too, John, is like I kind of see this game. I feel like the Eagles, you just try to make the Chiefs try to run the ball
Hmm.
because Pacheco, he has not been running the ball very well. Kareem Hunt ain't got the same legs he used to.
No.
He's been running pretty good though, but like
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Hmm.
And then you just kind of eliminate Mahomes and just kind of force the run. And then you have
Hmm.
that good interior defensive line and
Yeah.
great linebackers with the Eagles. I think that's how you control the game. Now, I don't know, kind of an amateur at this, but hey, I feel like the writing's on the wall. If you can make them run more than they want, I I, I think that's a
Hmm.
big difference.
Yeah.
And that could be everything in the world. But what do you think, John? Is there like anything that really stands out to you, like that maybe some things have to go right for the Eagles to win, or some things that have to go bad for the Chiefs?
I I think their defense just has to stay on top of it. I think they can't play too aggressively because that's one of the things with the Eagles. They're an aggressive defense. That bunch, they're
Hmm.
all, you know, uh Johnson, he's a loudmouth, but he's a great player,
Yeah.
and he needs to keep his cool, with some of these plays because that's the other thing. It could be a taunting that gives the advantage to the Chiefs, and that's what's going to lose it for them. So I think their defense has to just stay on top of it, play great football, try to play penalty free. It's going to happen because it always does happen, but I think they need to have a near perfect game to win it because their offense, I'm not too concerned. Like I say, I think the one question mark is just Jalen Hurts. Can he throw? He did show it the last game, but they got Saquon, and I don't think the Chiefs could stop Saquon. Nobody's been able to stop Saquon. You know, he's
Hmm.
getting 100 plus yards almost every single game. So it's gonna be hard. And then for the Chiefs, I think Patrick Mahomes just needs to be magic. That's the way they win it. And then having the
Hmm.
red stripes probably help out every now and then. It's what they're gonna need. And I saw a small clip of them talking about it at the today at media day, about the refs, and I think it was Travis Kelce bringing up like, where you guys always bringing up the refs, and it's like it's obvious, dude. Like you probably see it, but you're never gonna admit it. I know if I was Travis Kelce, I would never admit it, but I'd be like, hell yeah, we're getting lucky, So, that's why it gets brought
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they actually brought it up, reporter brought it up with Roger Goodell at the commissioners meeting that happened today as well. They said, "Are you guys going to start having a flag for flopping?" Guess that was the
Hmm.
slogan, flag for flopping. And much like other sports, the NBA obviously is a
Hmm.
is a big one because, I'll bring up James Harden,
Yeah. Yeah.
flopping king. And, do you bring it over to the NFL? Because obviously the biggest name in that is Mahomes, in my
Hmm.
opinion. And we could be prevalent this game. And the Eagles, like you mentioned, are a team that can get frustrated really easily. And you have some loudmouths, maybe some hotheads on that
Hmm.
team that, if something doesn't go right and they get frustrated over something Mahomes is doing, he's going to use that to his advantage.
Yeah.
And it's just going to piss off the world, and we don't want to see that.
Hmm.
So flag for flopping, I like it. I,
Hmm.
I think they need to really think a lot about that. Goodell, unfortunately, was saying it's not that prevalent, maybe because there's only one main notable name who
Yeah.
kind of does a lot of it. But yeah, I guess there's not going to be a ton of movement on it, but maybe food for thought for the future. But we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. It's the main
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, if people start seeing that, oh, we'll say the name Mahomes gets away with it, other people are going to start trying it, and if they start getting away with it, eventually they have to make it a rule because I think that's what happened in NBA. James Harden, there are these players always getting away with it. I always liked James Harden so little, like when he had the ball, he'd go like that, get his hand caught, and then just shoot it.
Yes. Oh, the worst.
The worst, but honestly, smart to do it when he could get away with
Yeah.
it. Because
Yeah.
eventually they took that away from him, so he
Yes.
used it to his advantage. It was during his years that he was one of the top players. So, but like you say, eventually they drilled down on it, and I think it's gonna happen with flopping because yeah, that one Mahomes little push that he flopped, and it's also Kelsey, when the last game against the Bills when the player went and sort of headbutted him, he gave a little flop. That was a little excessive the way he, acted. The helmet hit him. It's like, nah,
Hmm.
dude, you're a big guy, So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think those are for us some of the big takes for the Super Bowl. We'll see if Sirianni can get over this hump of being called a bad coach and finally winning it. Um, I
Yep.
think he started off the year in the hot seat. He's ending it pretty well for another few years, so kudos to him. Um and yeah, I would really want to see Saquon win it, but like you say, also Kelsey wins it, Mahomes wins it, three-peat. Kudos to them. Great work because it's never
Yep.
happened. It's really hard to do what they're about, what they could do this weekend if they win, and you gotta tip your hat to them. You cannot just be angry about it. You gotta tip your hat.
Absolutely. Yeah. It goes back to just recognizing greatness when you see it. And I think that's just why a lot of America
Yeah.
wants to see them lose because unless you're a fan of that team, we
Yeah.
did it to Brady. Unless you're a Patriots fan, you
Hmm.
don't want to see him win. So,
Yeah.
it happens with every great, but we definitely recognize the greatness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we do. So that's Super Bowl. Some NFL news. Rams today, actually, I saw the post or the report letting
Yep.
Cooper Cup know that they're gonna do everything they can to trade him. And for me, I think it just sucks. I think Cooper Cup was should have been like AD, retired a Ram. Um, but now trading him, I think they're doing him wrong. I think they're doing him dirty. You know, this guy has done a lot for you without you. They wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without Cooper Cup, I think, as well that season. So, um, I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like they're doing him wrong. What do you think, Tim, about this report? Rams telling Cooper Cup they're trading him.
I agree. Unless there's some type of internal dialogue where it's like, hey, I think the ship has sailed. Give me a
Hmm.
chance to go to a competitor and, try to get that one more ring. But I don't know. The Rams, I mean, they kind of proved it. They could be onto something. That defense
Hmm.
looks good. Stafford still evidently wants to play for another year or two. I agree. The greatest wide receiver season of all time was what
Hmm.
he had with the Rams, helped them win that championship. Yeah, you gotta do better by this guy. He
Yeah.
made his career there, and what a difference maker he consistently is. He's obviously, I'm sure he's been a great influence to a guy like
Hmm.
Puka,
Yeah.
who came out of nowhere as well and just always seems open and can make those tough catches. So much like Cooper Cup, it just seems
Yeah.
like he's kind of molded himself very similarly. So
Yeah.
yeah, even if it's for like lesser money, you got to do better by these
Hmm.
vets. In it's such a storied career, but I hope Cup gets into a situation that he deserves. And
Hmm.
just come up north. Who's going to make my pitch for the Niners? And
Yeah.
we could always add, we can let Debo walk and we'll just take Cooper Cup, little Cooper Cup.
That's
And
money wise, you think they're pretty similar? Debo, Cooper Cup.
oh yeah, yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, and especially now. And Debo's, I mean, his salary is astronomical, but yeah, I feel like you can get Cup on a good deal, and
Hmm.
at least if you want to re-sign him for a little bit longer. But yeah, no, it is similar for sure. I think they're both in what, that 20 million range
I think so.
annually, something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I mean, eh, let's make it happen. I
Yeah.
would love. I mean, Cooper, he still has stuff in the tank.
Hmm.
That
He
dude,
does.
he can perform, and he's such a good just catching receiver. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Any predictions, Sean, of where you think he might end
Uh,
up?
almost like you, I'm gonna make my pitch, to the Ravens. We're missing that one wide receiver, without Zay Flowers in the playoffs. I think it hurt us a bit. And we need someone with sure hands, and I think Cooper Cup could really show a lot to Zay. Rashad Bateman, we'll see what we do in the draft or free agency as well. But almost like with you, I think he'd be a great role model for Parcell. Getting him to be that Cooper
Hmm.
Cup of the future. So I hope to
Yep.
see him in the black and purple. I think he'll look good in that. Get away from the West Coast, go to the East Coast. It's a little nicer out there,
Hmm.
even though I love the West Coast because I
Sure.
live here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think there's a lot of teams that could use him. Another one, I'm gonna hate to say it, but I doubt it's gonna happen. The Cowboys, they could really use
Hmm.
a player like Cooper Cup, but like I say, who wants to go? Who wants to go to Dallas right now? Nobody. Nobody
No,
wants to go to
absolutely
Dallas.
not.
You know,
Yeah, no, that what a dumpster fire. I don't think for any sport you want to go there right now. But
no.
the only other thing a couple other teams. One,
Mm,
I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs are always going to try to find a way to play their cards. And another one is if DK gets dealt by Seattle. I know this isn't really trading him to a competitor,
mhm,
but DK leaves, Seattle's going to be looking for a wide receiver because Lockett is rumored to be leaving too. Maybe
mhm,
Lockett will go rejoin with Pete Carroll
mhm,
in Vegas. But yeah, I could see Cooper Cup going back to Washington State where he's from
mhm.
and, trying to go with Seattle if he wants to take that route. Again, it's going to come from, I hope he kind of has, some influence
Yeah.
on it to an extent because, again, he's a guy who deserves it because
Mhm.
that dude's been a rock star. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I was thinking Las Vegas probably as well. Pete Carroll,
yeah.
he's there to change stuff. Having someone like Cooper Cup on that offense, as a leader, and whoever they
Mhm.
bring in as a QB, I think he could help change that franchise. So, um, yeah, I think that's the biggest news or that's going to be something we're all going to be watching. Where is Cooper Cup going? Because that's going to start the free agency talks, transfers, all that. Because I think as of right now, is he the biggest name out there?
Him, yeah. DK is the only other name that I've
Uh-huh.
seen really floating out there. But I mean, to get at what you wish, who
Yeah.
do you want more, Cup or DK?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's mainly it right now. And
Hmm.
then just seeing where everybody gets drafted. Besides that,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like older quarterbacks. I don't know,
Hmm.
Darnold, Russell Wilson. Where do you think they're
Yeah.
going to go? So,
Yeah.
no, that's
Yeah.
about it. But Cooper Cup's an interesting name. That was kind of crazy news to see today.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was crazy. So we'll see what happens with that. And then the other news, I'll say it's a little bit of a
Speaking of crazy.
crazy news. You can sort of say a little sour for me. But
Mhm.
like I've said, we never shy away of talking about anything, even if it's our team, the good, the bad, the
Mhm.
ugly, and this is extremely ugly. And Justin Tucker
Yep.
and some of these recent allegations, and um, it for me when I saw it at first, I couldn't really believe it. I had to look at a few different news articles
Mhm.
just to make sure it was true because nowadays with AI and just social media, a lot of times things get told that aren't true at all. But
Mhm.
after reading everything, it doesn't sound great. Justin Tucker did come out and sort of say it's all fa false accusations, but there's also a lot of evidence that just doesn't look too good. All the accusations, all the text messages of him getting banned from these massage parlors are just it's unfortunate because we've talked about it and I think we can sort of I'll ask you that question, Tim. Like with this, if this comes out to be true, Hall of Fame career out the door or out the window?
Absolutely.
Uh,
100%. 100%. It's
yeah.
gone. Yeah, and that what a crazy question. That kind of turns into Han John
Hmm.
with, we were talking about like just the season in general
Yeah.
and, if that has any influence on everything, but it just for both of us, he was still a Hall of Fame
Hmm.
lock at that point. But, it kind of brings in a little bit of a broader scale of things too, is like, was he playing bad because he knew something like this was going to come out?
I
That
I
that's
that
crossed my
that's
mind. I think I've seen it in
yeah,
comments.
I was thinking the same. I think when I saw it, I think I texted I don't know if I texted a group message or it was just me in my mind texting you guys but not wanting to say it, on a text message, but I was like,
Hmm.
that's why this fool fucking missed all those kicks this year because he knew what was coming out. But like I say, these are
His
all
mind was elsewhere.
allegations. I don't know how true, how false all these are. We're gonna have to wait, but like I said, just from what we've seen, it's just not looking good. And it's unfortunate because he was always a great kicker. I enjoyed him as a kicker, but if this is true, it's bad for him, and it really just pushes me away of really liking the guy because from what I know, he's a family man, and doing something like that, it's just no matter what, no matter how much money you have, it's not appropriate. So,
No, it's really unfortunate because obviously he meant a lot to that, that whole city. What a big name he was, and his influence across the NFL. And yeah, if proven true and everything, I hope the victims get, their justice they deserve, and
Mhm,
I hope they can move forward from something like this.
mhm,
But really unfortunate, really unexpected.
mhm,
And we were kind of talking. I think three new allegations came out a couple of days after the original announcement.
mhm.
So it just continues to get a little bit worse. That's
Yeah.
kind of, I'm not gonna pair the two situations necessarily 100% together, but with
Mm,
Watson, we kind of saw a lot of that too, where you had your original grouping, and then
yeah.
after that, more people came forward. So we'll see what happens. Clearly not a great thing. Obviously, he has married, right? Married family,
Hmm.
kids,
Kids.
just yeah,
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. It's a bummer. Yeah, you don't like to
Yeah.
see stuff like this.
No, yeah. It's not good to see, and when it's your team, it just sort of stings a little bit more because, like I say, it's a team you support, a team I'm still gonna support, but they're gonna have to do what's best for the team, for just media, and if it's him getting dropped or released, it's him getting released. I'm not gonna cry about it. I understand the reasoning, and I support my Baltimore Ravens, so we'll see what happens. Like I say, all of this is just allegations as of right now, but as we hear more, we'll probably report a little bit more about it. Um, but yeah, but that's I think that's the biggest NFL news this week. Like I said, I think a lot of the NFL news is really focusing on Super Bowl, which is Sunday. We're excited for that, so hopefully you guys enjoy the
Mhm.
game. But some other big news being broken. And another sport, NBA news. And we sort of talked about it during our banter takes and the Luka trade. We talked about Mark Cuban buying the Mavericks, but Tim, just what are your thoughts when you got that alert? Or I don't know if you saw it through text messages from our group when you saw Luka got traded to the Lakers.
Yeah, just utter shock. I had seen a post. I don't know what outlet it was, but it reported on Sham
Mhm.
Sharania. ESPN breaking news about this blockbuster trade, and they said yes, this is real. Like they had to like tell
Mhm.
people like in the title, like yes, this is not fake. Like this is legit
Yeah.
news. I've seen Luka, and AD being traded for one another, and of course a few other pieces, but
Hmm.
utter shock. It's hard to believe that any team would move on from a guy like Luka, and especially the Mavericks, where they got him for an absolute steal
Hmm.
in the draft. And he led them all the way up to an NBA Finals last year. Very well could have, gotten back into it again this year. I know
Hmm.
he's dealing with, I believe, some injuries at the moment,
Hmm.
but I guess there even just the reasoning behind Nico and the Mavs organization, it just seems like they're deathly afraid of paying him,
Hmm.
and his conditioning was a factor. I saw a meme today of where Luka weighs 270 pounds, I guess coming into from this offseason, and Nick Bosa weighs 266 pounds. Obviously,
Okay.
there's a height difference too, and that
Yeah.
plays a factor, but big boy.
Hmm.
But look at Jokic. He's no absolute specimen,
Yeah.
but they're two of the best players in the NBA. If he's
Hmm.
doing it okay, who gives a damn
Damn.
about his
About his weight.
conditioning? Yeah, I could say something way worse, but yeah,
Yeah.
who cares? The dude will still put up 30, 10, and 10 a night.
Yeah.
What's it to him? The
Hmm.
dude, he's smart. He's smart with the ball. He has good angles,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I don't think anybody can really justify the reasoning behind the
Hmm.
Mavs doing something like this. And especially the haul that they got, if you even want to call it that, I guess. You
Yeah.
get a guy like AD who's made of glass. That's the running
Yeah.
joke with AD.
Yeah.
And you think he's going to come in and be a defensive dominator and win a championship. I'm sorry, but he's not going to do it.
No.
AD is a phenomenal player. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame probably,
Hmm.
but he's not going to win it
Hmm.
all for you. And Kyrie is old. Klay Thompson can't shoot with a damn still. Uh, it's yeah, what do you have? And I'm sure it's decimating for that team to see a guy like Luka leave. It's
Hmm.
decimating for the fans. I've heard fans canceling season tickets, going through all that. But on the other hand, you have the Lakers, where the only downside I can see to this trade is they're not going to play a lick of defense. So they're going to have to put up, I don't know, 125, 130 a night.
Yeah.
And then let's see what they do with the bigs. You have
Mm-hmm.
Rui, but he plays kind of small. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Kleber now, who kind of rides the bench.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He'll have a bigger role. Obviously, maybe they can make one more smaller trade for a big and
Hmm.
capitalize on it. But again, it's incredible. And one other funny point to this too,
Hmm.
before I'll give you your points here, John. I read today that I guess the Nico wanted to include Dalton Connect in the trade,
Hmm.
besides Max Christie and AD. And somehow, uh, what's his face with Lakers GM was able to convince Nico that, hey, no, we are too worried about Luka's conditioning. And I guess he was able to, you know, kind of convince him that, that's too much for
Yeah.
Luka
Oh
when they're
man.
already giving AD. So he was still able to to convince him otherwise. That's crazy if true,
Man.
and a downright embarrassment. So, yeah, terrible. What do you think, John?
Yeah. If that's true, Nico has to go. I don't think he survives this season after the season. But yeah, I was shocked to see it. I was at my parents' because we had Keanu's birthday on Saturday. We had our little after party where him, the other kiddos were playing outside, and we were there with all the fellas. And I got the alert on my phone, and like you said, at first I was like, "This is fake. It's fake news." So I kept on. I had to look at four different like sources to sort of be like, okay, this is actually true. And then I told like Fidel, Richie, and they were like, wait, what, Luca? Even Fat Boy, excited about it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm just like, and they're like, oh, dang, all Laker fans right now, they're all excited, all on this high, but calm down. We'll see what happens. But overall,
Mhm.
kudos to them. They got him. I wish my team would do that for some subpar players. He'd be great on the Clippers. I think you're with the Warriors. I think you wouldn't mind it either, you know.
Oh, I bought a jersey already. I would have already owned it instantly.
You
Easy
know,
buy.
s- so
Yeah.
it's yeah, in Dallas, it's unfortunate because yeah, I read that Nico thinks they need to work on their defense and AD was the answer when AD's a great defensive player, but his numbers, I think, were just so stacked because he was the only player playing defense on the Lakers. Overall, defensive rating, Dallas was still higher than the Lakers, so what difference is it really going to make when now there's going to be a bunch of big guys? Yes, AD's not playing the center position. He'll probably play the power forward, but I don't think it's gonna make a difference because, like I say, Kyrie, he's older, he's hit or miss. Clay, I I truly was hoping Clay could have a comeback type of year, but it's not looking
Mhm.
that great for him. And then they have some great young players, but like I say, you take away your cornerstone of your franchise like Luka, and you get absolutely nothing back. That's insane. Look at what the Clippers gave up for Paul George. We gave up Shea,
Yeah.
Alexander. and we gave up like 5 first-round picks for PG, who was not as young as Luka, not as dominant at the moment. Like, how could you not have asked for more? How could you have not gone to other teams to see who you could have gotten even more from? Because there's a lot of great defensive players if that's really what you cared about. So I, it sounds like there's some collusion. I'm going to throw it out there. There's some collusion. Something's working out. Trying to give the Lakers the team to make it to the playoffs because I think they were on that bubble and they weren't going to go too far this year. But now, um, I think this move makes I don't think they're favorite yet, but they are contenders now because Luka is that type of player. Last year they went against a great Celtic team that's just, they're just so meshed together that it was gonna be hard to beat them. But a year with Kyrie, they would figure it out. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think this helps the Lakers, what they did. It's ridiculous, Nico, man. And then I feel bad for Maverick fans. I saw they took out the coffin for him and put it in front of their arena today or yesterday. And I was just like, man,
Yep.
that just hurts.
Yeah, totally disheartening. And that's why I made that comparison earlier of the Mavericks are literally the Oakland
Mhm.
A's of the NBA at this point. You guys don't hold anybody. Brunson, now you're moving on to after
Mhm.
Nowitzki, it's like it's just tarnished
Mhm.
and it's a bummer. Yeah, it's like evidently too to put more salt on the wound on Doncic's side. I guess last week he purchased a $15 million house in
I
Dallas.
saw that.
Awful timing. Next was, with this trade, he's no longer Supermax eligible. So I
Mhm.
guess he's going to be losing about $114 million on his next
Yes.
contract. So obviously the Lakers will pay him like he's going to be their next 10-year guy and
Hmm.
make him stay forever. But that's a lot of money. And then obviously you buy that house and I don't know. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I think there's just no words you can justify with Nico.
Hmm.
Like I said, the only way that dude is going to save his job after the season, even if he makes it there, is just going to be winning the whole thing with AD, which I don't
Yeah.
see. So,
No, I don't
and they
see
look less
it.
than thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the next game, I think it was yesterday, Kyrie was out. That whole team was out, and they got blown. I think they lost by like 40. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yep.
already a bad sign for the Mavericks. And, I think they also let Porzingis go. They got to deal with him coming from New
Yep.
York. And look at Porzingis right now. He has a chip. You just had to wait. You had to hold someone on. And him with Luka and Kyrie, that could have been that missing piece. Porzingis was on the Celtics,
Yeah.
helped them win it. If it was the opposite way, it could have been the Mavericks winning it. So, like you say, I don't know much of the history of Oakland. I know they sucked a lot recently. So, but
Hmm.
yeah, they could be the next Oakland
Yeah.
A's, and you think they need to make a move like the Oakland A's are doing to maybe change
Oh
them around?
man. Yeah. It's that bad. I feel like the fan reaction is gonna really show,
Yeah.
and deservedly so. Even looking back, you have a guy like Steve Nash, who was
Hmm.
once a Maverick. They let him walk and go to the Suns, and I forget it was if they let him walk or it was a trade. I forget what it was back
Hmm.
in the day. But again, that's another one. He teamed up great
Yeah.
with Nowitzki, and he's gone. And in the comp, it works well just because I grew up with A's teams that had guys like Jermaine Dye, Terrence
Hmm.
Long, Eric Chavez, Johnny Damon, just you name it,
Yeah.
Miguel Tejada. All those players were phenomenal. And then as soon as we started to win and they were owed big contracts, bye-bye.
Yeah.
See you later. We're not going to pay you.
We're not gonna pay you.
Trade you away.
Yeah.
Moneyball illustrated it well.
Hmm.
So, but Moneyball, it's not going to work in the NBA. If
Yeah.
you don't pay your players, you're not loyal, you don't build around a certain player like you should have forever with Luka.
Hmm.
God, I wonder, I just would love to see. I hope Mark Cuban, I don't think he has yet. I'd like to see his reaction. I just really want to know how he feels about this because I don't think he has much with the franchise, right? I guess he may be part of the operations, but
Yeah,
I know
I
it's
think
not
he
a
has
paid position.
a small part, but it isn't like the way it was before, where he was the owner. I think he sold a lot of it,
Hmm.
so that's what I say. I think
Hmm.
he needs to buy it back, make it better again, and not lose it. Because, like I say, all these Maverick fans, Houston, right next door, they're doing a lot better. They have a great, solid team
Oh
and a
yeah.
young team, So
Hmm.
if you got to root for
It's
someone,
a
it
great
might be
squad.
the Rockets. So we'll see
Hmm.
what happens. Like I say, I'm excited. It's great for the NBA. Like I say, I hate to see it for the Lakers because I just don't like the Lakers. But we'll see. Two ball dominant players with LeBron. Um, we'll see if it works out. It's going to be a tough one, but overall, well, I'm excited. I know all the fellas, all these Laker fans. Getting all too excited, calling a championship already. Slow your
Jesus.
horses, man. Come on. One
Of
trade,
course.
you don't know who's gonna make the next big trade. We saw a few other trades. The Spurs, Kings, and Bulls three team trade where the Spurs added De'Aaron Fox, Kings added Zach LaVine. So those are two big other names getting switched, and the De'Aaron Fox one I think is sort of a not a big surprise, but one of the big names because he was that one player in Sacramento that they kept, because they wanted to build around him, and now they lost their coach at the beginning of the season. They got let go suddenly, without any explanation after making the playoffs and really changing this franchise, quite a bit the last few years. Um, but De'Aaron Fox on the Spurs, I'm excited because that gives Wemby another piece to really make them a playoff team. And seeing Wemby in the playoffs, I think is good for NBA.
Definitely. Yeah. And they definitely want them to be in it because yeah, he's a sight to see. And we right now, we see clips of Wemby, but there's not a whole lot of talk necessarily. I feel like
Yeah.
there could be a lot more with him,
Hmm.
especially if they want him to be the next poster child, of the NBA. So
Hmm.
yeah, overall, yeah, like you said, no big surprise with this De'Aaron Fox trade. I think the writing was
Hmm.
on the wall ever since that Mike Brown incident happened. It seemed like he had a big say in that
Hmm.
firing. I just, kind of just as an outsider looking in, it just seems like his interview he had after all of that, and he just didn't seem very caring to the fact that Mike Brown lost his job. Like, oh no, this is a big bummer. It was more or less like, oh, he's still gonna get paid. Like,
Yeah.
it just it was like, oh, dude, you're involved,
Yeah.
definitely. And kind of crazy if the Kings let him have that much involvement in that, and then you just go ahead and trade him
Hmm.
anyway. So that's interesting too. Um, Kings, I don't know what they're doing. They made a lot of ads, this offseason, bringing in DeRozan. You have a guy like Sabonis that
Hmm.
was a great piece with De'Aaron Fox. So again, the high playoff hopes didn't really turn out. Start of the season wasn't really clicking.
Hmm.
But now that you do this trade, Levine, he's often injured. He's a great player, but he's often injured.
Hmm.
He's a good piece. I think that they got more back with this trade than I think a lot of people expected. They do have some
Yeah.
future first round picks, but they are kind of in the distance. But I think this is the last thing Kings fans wanted to see is just it seems like you're just rebuilding again, and it's just
Yeah.
on repeat. And Kings fans don't want this shit anymore.
Hmm.
Can't blame them. You see, a couple hours away, you have the Warriors who just, have won so often the
Hmm.
last decade, and you know, yeah, they're still stuck. And from a Spurs perspective, if you want, hey Dallas fans, if you want to join another team besides the Rockets, Spurs are great too
Yeah.
because
That's true.
that lineup is looking really good.
Hmm.
Let's see what I'm envisioning CP is going to come off the bench now,
Hmm.
but they have great pieces there. So
Hmm.
Sochin is there, and it's a lot
Castle.
to build around. And
Hmm.
Castle, oh man, yeah, he threw down a hell of a dunk tonight too.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude has up. So
Yeah.
again, great team. You know, yeah, it's a good trade for the Spurs. I think that was one that was
Hmm.
necessary and one that will kind of put them over the edge. I don't think Popovich is back though, right? I think he's still dealing with some
No.
some health issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully he makes a good comeback because Pop is great. And, he could be a good push for the team as well, but obviously health is number one. So I don't know if he is going to come back. I know he's missed quite some time now.
Hmm.
But yeah, from the Spurs, I feel for you.
Hmm.
From the Kings, I feel for you. I don't know what you guys are doing. So
Yeah.
Sabonis will probably be next. I don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see. And like with the Spurs, one of the things I've looked into, just because like I said, I'm watching more basketball now. I do it for my prop bets, stuff like that, through Underdog. But the Spurs own the Atlanta Hawks first round pick, and Atlanta's still number 9.
Mhm.
If Atlanta gets into the lottery and if they make a trade, because that is one team also I could see making a trade. I could see Trey Young being traded out. I I don't know
Mhm.
if they're really looking into it, but Atlanta starts tanking. They don't have it's a non-protected pick, so if that becomes a 1 or 2 pick, imagine the
Oh,
Spurs getting it and Cooper Flag with Victor.
hmm.
Man, that would be.
Oh boy.
That'd be amazing to see.
Yeah.
But it's going to be
Oh
really
yeah.
hard.
Yeah. No, it would an insane amount of luck, but the luck is always
Mm.
there. You never know.
Yeah, you never
You
know.
never know. It's a lottery for a reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that would be crazy to
Hmm.
see. And that would be must-watch TV, and I think it would do really good for ratings,
Yeah,
honestly,
it'd be
because I,
really
I
good for
feel like
rating.
yeah, yeah. I mean, say what you want about like the big three, and KD joining the Warriors or LeBron going to Miami. It was good for TV. Like, we still talk about those
Yeah.
teams to this day. And, it's just historic versus, when you have more balance in the NBA, there's kind of less to talk about, I feel like. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, February 6th is the deadline, so there could be a lot more. And you're right. I think Trey Young is definitely up for being
Yeah.
traded. So I'm curious to see where he'll go.
Mhm.
Obviously you'd kind of want to see him go to a competitor, but who's looking for somebody
Mhm.
to kind of run a ball dominant point
Yeah.
position. Maybe not quite so ball dominant. He's racking up a lot of assists this year. He's
Yeah.
had games where
No,
he has 20 plus.
yeah, he's he's a great player right now, and I think with the Hawks losing Jalen Johnson to season-ending injury,
Yeah.
Johnson was killing it for the Hawks. I think
Hmm.
that really hurts them, and I think they sort of have to figure out what their next steps are, and can you maybe get good draft assets for Trey Young to still build off of this draft, even though you don't have your own first? Because you never know. Someone may want that, Trey Young, and will be willing to give up a first, you know, because
Yeah.
he's not as young, but still great player. Today he hit a dagger three to win it for the Hawks with like 1 second left, against the Detroit Pistons. So he's one name I think he may get traded. Another one, we talked about it a little bit before we started, recording today, but I think it's also a name we've heard quite a bit for probably like a year or two. Giannis, as another player
Yeah.
that may be ready to move on because the Bucks aren't they made a comeback. They started the year off bad, doing a lot better. But
Hmm.
Giannis, I think and what I also saw, and I told you, he's excited about the Luka trade because Luka's going to a big market. And he says, some of these players should go to big markets. Well, Milwaukee's not a big market. Where is a big market?
Hmm.
Can he go to New York? That'd be a great place. Boston, you know, the Clippers, Golden State, you know. There's a lot of
Hmm.
teams Giannis would make a difference and make them a, you know, championship contending team.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, hey, from the Warriors standpoint, we have a great package deal for him already.
Yeah.
It's going to include Kuminga. It's going to include Wiggins, probably Pods. You can take Quentin Post if you want a big back. In maybe some picks, but we'll take Giannis and we'll take his brother Thanasis. Bring them both. We'll take him, you know. Uh, but yeah, clearly he enjoys this for the NBA, and he's been rumored. He doesn't seem so solidified in
Hmm.
Milwaukee, and who knows how much he likes playing for Doc.
Yeah.
He seems, he's had a couple head coaches there, and who really knows. So. That's another big name to, possibly float out there. I think he's been
Hmm.
mentioned in a few different forums with
Yeah.
deadline rumors. Another team that is going to probably look to deal is the Pelicans because they're absolutely terrible.
Hmm.
And what's really shocking is you have a guy like Zion, who the Pelicans have had more patience with than the Mavericks do with a guy like Luka,
Luka.
who's
Yeah.
far less injured. It's crazy
And proven.
to
Luka's
realize
been
that.
proven.
Yes, and Zion has proven that he is probably one of the biggest busts in NBA
Hmm.
history so far. And, talk about a guy who can't get weight under control too, probably to a worser,
Yeah.
issue. I know Stephen A is very outspoken about that. He's had some
Yeah.
funny clips talking about Zion, but that's another team. They have DeJounte Murray there. They
Hmm.
have Brandon Ingram, and then they have Zion, all of which could
Hmm.
be dealt. CJ McCollum is there, I believe. So,
CJ
you
McCollum, yeah.
know, kind of crazy that team isn't better than what they are. But
Yeah.
injuries hurt. So, that's a
Yeah.
big one. And then Jimmy Butler's still floating out there, but that dude, he's a head case, it seems, or he's just, different
Yeah.
mental space. I'm not too sure. I don't want to, but he doesn't even want to sign with anybody. He's already
Yeah.
told the Warriors that we've inquired, and he says, "I'm not going to resign with you." It's like,
Yeah.
okay, don't waste your time.
Yeah, but Butler's one of those toxic players. He's moved around. He's still a
Yeah.
great player. I think he has the skills, but he just doesn't bring positivity to a team. So it sounds like
Mhm.
he wants to go to Phoenix. If he goes to Phoenix, we'll see. I know Bradley Beal's also one that's been talked about. Um, in regards to Zion, it was funny because with a few of the buddies, we have our little parlay group chat where we talk about who we're picking, who we're putting on our bets, on underdog, higher or lower. And today Zion was sort of a topic of how he is a bust, and it's so true. This is a guy, great talent, still great ability, but isn't performing at where he was drafted. Like it's unfortunate, and I hate to say it, and I think it might have been good for Tubby, but he's gaining weight in New Orleans. Saints could have been a great place for Tubby because the buffets must be good if Zion, even with knowing he
Yeah,
needs to lose weight, he's still gaining weight. You know?
that's a super valid point. Clearly, the gumbo is gumboing.
Yeah.
It's got to be legit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but hey, power to him. Because if I had, if we were part of any type of team in New Orleans, man, I'd gain some weight
Yeah.
too because the food there is probably just so outrageously good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hey, but I do want to throw this out there. As of
Mhm.
this morning, I know, sorry, Golden State Warriors minute here. Uh, Warriors front office have reached out to a number of all-stars. That's been confirmed.
Mhm.
And the big names that they've reached out to and legitimately reached out to is LeBron James and Kevin Durant, so Lakers and Suns. They, I guess, have huge ambitions of having them to come back, or in Kevin Durant's case,
Mhm.
come back to Golden State to team up with Steph and make this final push. And, they could all
Mhm.
do it. But imagine that. Imagine where the Lakers just traded for a guy like Luka, and then the Warriors could make a deal for LeBron. Obviously, he's an aging
Mhm.
asset. He's what, 4 years old
Yeah.
now, and then in return, the Lakers would for sure get a guy like Kuminga, Wiggins to pair up
Mhm.
with Luka. So even if they don't do it this year, going forward,
Yeah.
it's building blocks. So, not the
We'll
worst
see.
idea it could be, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and that was one thing I was sort of going to bring up as well with the Lakers. Like, did they make this move for the future? And could LeBron sort of
Mhm.
be working his way out of LA at the same time? Because, like I say, he wants to still see LA succeed. I think he likes the Bus family. He loves the franchise. but could he sort of wiggle his way to go to Golden State, get some young players to put with Luka, and keep them a dominant team for the future without losing too many draft picks and maybe even getting some more draft picks? Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a great team this year. I think they're still number
Mhm.
one in the East, and they have
Oh
some
yeah.
great young players to build around,
Mhm.
bringing with Luka to the Lakers. So, you know, yes, whatever team takes him probably has to take Bronny, but could that be what's being worked out either this year or, like you mentioned, maybe for next year? This is the
Mhm.
starting to build for that. So we'll see. Um, LaMelo Ball, we've talked about the Balls family a bit. You think he might be on the move?
Mhm. He could be. Yeah. Injuries. It's a big problem with him.
Mhm.
But LaMelo's an interesting name. But I don't know. I think a big thing with LaMelo is consistency of play. He
Mhm.
probably wouldn't be worth much right now. I feel like the Hornets would probably want to get more from him,
Mhm.
and go from there. But the Hornets are just dragging his career
Yeah.
at this point. They're not going to win anytime
Yeah.
soon. So, um, yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, you never know. We've seen crazier things, clearly.
Yeah.
Mo could be out there. He's a great shooter,
No,
and
he's a great shooter.
he can pass well, and yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
I heard
It's another
LeVar.
interesting.
I heard LeVar Ball say, I forget where, but he wants to see his sons play at the Clippers. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind LaMelo,
Oh,
and then Lonzo. If he could get back to the old Lonzo, not bad. Alongside
yeah.
Harden and Kawhi, and like I said. The other pitch I was sort of going to make, I don't want to lose Zubac because he's been playing great this year. One of the best, I think, centers this year, in my opinion. But if we got to trade it, if we got to throw him in for Giannis, I might pull that. I'll pull the trigger if I was the Clippers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, whatever you guys do though, just hold on to Norm Powell because that dude's he's borderline
Yeah,
all-star. That dude's hella good.
he should be. He
He,
should be
he's
an all-star. You know,
he
that's a
should
big
be. Yeah,
snub.
him and Trey Young. But yeah,
Yeah.
both of them big snubs. But yeah, no, that's a big one. And then I guess one final thing here, John.
Hmm.
If LeBron were to be dealt, hypothetically, is
Yeah.
Bronny a package deal with his daddy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't let
Gotta
daddy
go,
go by
daddy.
himself. You can't go dad. Daddy can't
Yeah.
go by himself without his boy.
No. Yeah.
You know,
And then teaming up with Uncle Draymond. Come on. Come on.
imagine.
It's
That'd be
it's
good.
it's meant to be. Oh,
It is.
yeah. And then yeah, full circle back to the other, take we had,
Mhm.
Uncle Dre.
Yeah.
Be good.
Yeah, no,
Fun.
it'd be good. So we'll see. NBA, like I said, there might be a lot more coming within the next few days. Deadline ends on Thursday, so we got, we're recording today Monday, so we still got Tuesday, Wednesday. So next week we probably will have a lot more NBA takes, NBA news. Um, just because we'll be done with NFL, so we got to start focusing on another sport for some
Uh,
time, until baseball starts and then
Baseball.
NFL off season. Um, but
Yep.
one of the other things, we had our new segment last week, um, the Sounds of Banter, where we talk about music, and it was the Grammys this past week, so we just want to do a quick recap. So some surprises, some thoughts, and for me, one of my, you could say a surprise and thought, and I'm trying to think how to say this without sounding so mean, but I don't know. Beyonce, I don't think she should have won, country album of the year or album of the year. Nothing against Beyonce because she does have great music, but how can you go from like hip hop and pop to winning a country album when there were so many con other country artists that really are part of that world? Yeah, she made a country album, but I don't think she deserved to win that because everybody else, even Post Malone for me, is more country than Beyonce. So
Yeah,
that's why I also think like the Grammy, the committee, this was due to money, due to other things that I'm just really not going to share at the moment. We talked about this one situations which they may or may not be involved. We don't know anything yet, but
right.
trying to paint a better picture for them, and winning this could be the agenda for the Academy of the Grammys. So that's sort of one of my thought surprises. Wasn't too happy with that. I'm curious what country music fans think because I'm not a country music fan much. I listen to some of it, but like I say, I don't think she deserved it. I think it should have gone to someone that's been more in that genre for a long time, but that's me, an outsider that doesn't listen to country.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Taylor Swift is still more country than
Yeah.
at this point in her career than Beyonce is. So yeah, and he was going up against, Chris Stapleton, who I think is what, eight-time
Hmm.
country vocalist of the year,
Yeah.
male vocalist. And, Casey Musgraves is a name that I brought up last week
Hmm.
where, Jen, my wife, listens to
Yeah.
her a ton and, she has great music. And then like you mentioned, Post Malone.
Hmm.
He teamed up with Morgan Wallen on a track this year, and it was very widely known and outspoken about his F1
Hmm.
Trillion album that was coming out. So
Yeah.
I heard a lot more about those, just
Hmm.
having surfed through TikTok, social media, than I did anything with Cowboy Carter,
Yeah.
and Beyonce. Obviously, I want to keep filming this podcast for years and years and years to come. So we'll halt the tracks at a certain point here, John.
Yeah.
But I do want to pose this question to you. Does this
Hmm.
go back to the take of just corporations kind of taking over these award shows to you? You think this is the essence of that?
Yeah, I think it is because I don't know what the message given it to Beyonce was because like I say, she's a great vocalist, never gonna take anything away from her because she's always made a lot of great music. But
Oh yeah.
going into country, it is very ambitious and like I said, it's Beyonce, she could probably do it, but winning album of the year, you know, country music album of the year. I don't think it should have gone to her just because there's been so many people that put so much into that genre for years, and her just coming in one year. And what is she going to do next year? She's going to go into EDM album of the year, something like that. So it's like, what's she going to do next? F folk music, classical, like is she just trying to win everything? I think it is the corporations making the decisions, trying to put an agenda out there that we really aren't on board for. But like I say, we don't have the power to do much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that aspect needs to be weighed a lot too with, just artists who kind of hop different genres. Like it's becoming very popular to do. And I don't really want to put a name on who was first to do it, but like, you go and do something that it just really needs to be weighed,
Mhm.
like you're mentioning in this industry. And it takes away from others who, country is what they were brought up with, and that's
Mhm.
what they know. And, they don't mix it with anything else. So that's an interesting aspect too. Um, that's certainly one, and obviously she won a ton yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, outside of that, we certainly it was a big night for Kendrick Lamar
Hmm.
as well. Kind of getting into, his background. I shared with our group chat in particular a couple of Drake memes that,
Yeah.
just were cracking me up last night. I just felt like he was there punching air all night. And uh, yeah, it does kind of just uh, no surprise as to why he would be. And, he just went out, and then it's just so funny watching celebrities and other Grammy winners just dancing to Not Like Us as he goes up there. It just seems like they're
Yeah.
all in support of what he was saying,
Hmm.
and the industry is just really turned against him. So I'm curious as to like what Drake's just general career response is going to be to all of this, because like this blow to him was huge. Like
Hmm.
I mean, drop the mic times 10 as of
Yeah.
right now. I don't know. We'll see what's to come, but that was an interesting one to me. And
Hmm.
yeah, what do you think, John, about like Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, I think kudos to Kendrick because he makes great albums. Sucks to be Drake because this is what your career is going to be remembered for. Um, and all those lawsuits he has out there to try to stop this song from playing, it's never going to happen because you could see everybody was singing it. Taylor Swift was singing and dancing to the song when it got
Oh
announced.
yeah,
So it's like
she was.
you're in trouble. So we'll see. I I'm a I'm Team Kendrick. Like I said, don't dislike Drake's music. He makes some great songs, but ever since all of this, I've been more Team Kendrick Lamar, and I've enjoyed his music. So, yeah, big surprise it won because it's also a diss song, diss album. So I don't know if it's probably the
Yeah.
first this to win a Grammy. I think it always wins like those MTV Music Awards, those, the BET Awards, all those other awards that they have. But at a Grammys, a diss song winning, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I deservedly so. I feel like the album or yeah, the album altogether, it, great tracks in there, but Not Like Us is just one that's just
Yeah.
it's played on repeat, and um people just kind of go crazy to it. Like it's just super catchy, and then just the meaning behind it is crazy.
Mhm.
Shout out Lefty Gunplay, because that dude's probably making a fortune off of
Yeah.
just, you know, in one simple line.
Yeah.
And hey, we talked about him last week. Bruno Mars with a more subtle song with
Hmm.
Lady Gaga being a winner for
Yeah.
best pop duo and group performance. So props
Hmm.
to him.
Yeah.
That'll probably help with the Vegas losses.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, some notoriety there.
Yep.
Shakira back in it, pop
Shakira winning
album. I didn't
again.
even know Shakira. Did you know she released an album?
Hmm.
I did.
I
Shame
was
on
aware
me.
of it. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, that's a good one. Sabrina Carpenter, best pop vocal album. Sabrina, she was definitely considered in a number of different categories, including best new artist, which is it Chapel Roan or
Yeah.
Chappelle?
Chapel Roan.
Chapel?
Yeah.
Chapel Roan. Yeah, certainly what is it, Hot to Go? That
Yeah.
was a super popular song all over
Hmm.
TikTok, I know. Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Shabuzi, Teddy Swims, there were amongst some other names in there, but all, great singers, but she won that one too. So,
Hmm.
some good winners here and there. And then not only country album of the year, John, but album of the year, Cowboy Carter,
Hmm.
beating out, again, like Sabrina Carpenter's album, Taylor
Yeah.
Swift's Tortured Poets Department,
Yeah.
Chappell Roan, Billie Eilish's
Billie
album.
Eilish. Yeah.
That's huge. I
It,
props to Beyonce.
props to Beyonce. Like I said, I think Billie not winning one is a shame because she always makes great songs,
Yeah.
great vocals, catchy, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Winning album of the year for Cowboy Carter sort of, for me, rubbed me the wrong way. Like I say, people that listen to country music, if you're listening to this, segment, let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like she deserved it? Do you feel like someone else got robbed and this is just the Grammys trying to push an agenda? Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
there were a lot of non-surprises. Yeah. Um, Chaperone's good. Bruno Mars, like I say, I always enjoy his music. I really enjoy that song with Lady Gaga. You get around to listening to his newest song
Several times.
several
Several times.
times.
Yeah.
You have it on repeat now, Tim.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I do. Yeah, dude. It's what I wake up with. It's a great song. I don't know. Like it's catchy to me. I'm not gonna call it like a great song, but like the background beat to it, it's just really, really, really different for
Mhm.
Bruno.
Yeah.
But catchy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just catchy. Uh, but I don't know. I can't really like. I don't feel comfortable like blasting that song. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
maybe in my headphones quietly.
Yeah.
Um, but that's about it. And yeah, but I did get around to that. And then on another one too, if we want to talk about like robberies of awards, if
Mhm.
Amelia Perez wins anything, John, like I didn't even make it through a TikTok video of that film. Oh my God. Like the singing's not even good.
No.
You know?
Ah.
It's like listening to me go like, talking a sentence but put background music on it. It's like, dude.
Do you remember when Kanye West's daughter was at the Lion King showing and
Oh,
performed?
yes, of course.
It I think the
Yeah.
movie was a little worse than that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and
And
that
and
was
then
I hate to say it, that was bad.
yeah, absolutely. And hey, speaking of Kanye West, how about him showing up uninvited and then being escorted out by law enforcement?
That
It's-
it's not surprising that he
No.
showed up in my mind. I think what's he go by now? Yee? Is it Yee that he goes by? I don't even know what he goes
Yeah,
by anymore. Yee, I
I think
think.
so. Yeah.
He does whatever he wants, and hey, he got
Yeah.
attention to himself, and people are talking about Kanye.
Uh-huh.
When people talk about Kanye, you start listening to Kanye music, and the newer music for me, not really my cup of tea, but his old ones, I
Mhm.
still like to listen to.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
Mm.
And maybe he would have been invited if
Mhm.
he would have put some of those freaking songs he sampled for, days and
Oh yeah.
days and days. None of them were in the album. It's like, dude,
Yep.
what is this? I'm sorry, garbage.
Yeah.
It was nothing any of us wanted. Anybody
hmm
who listens to his stuff. So that was disappointing. And hopefully there's another, I guess, version that comes out. But again, when you don't release it the first time around, like nobody's really going to be into it when you actually do, in my
hmm
opinion. I feel like it
Yeah.
loses a lot of that, I don't know, pizzazz, whatever you
hmm
want to call it.
It does.
So, yeah, maybe if you would have been a little bit more considerate with his music and put it out,
Yeah.
when people wanted it, you would have been invited. But yeah,
You
again, no
could have.
surprise there.
Yeah.
Him showing up like that. Kanye does
Yeah.
what Kanye does.
Yeah. Kanye does what Kanye does and wants. His I think it's girlfriend. I don't want to say wife because I don't think they're married, but her outfit
Beyonce, girlfriend,
or
yeah,
fiance
something like that.
maybe. Yeah, but that outfit, no wonder they probably kicked him out because this was it CBS broadcasting it? I don't think they allow that type
Yeah,
of stuff. So, um, but
right.
yeah, yeah, it was funny to see, and like I say, I think at first the rumors were he was getting kicked out just because it was Kanye what they did, but he was kicked out because he had no invite. And when you don't got an invite to those big shows, it don't matter what your name is, you might not be able to get in.
No,
So,
absolutely not. Yeah. And we've seen his
so
antics at award shows.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You think he
Although
would have
he,
gone? You think he would have gone up and done that to Beyonce what he did to Taylor?
imagine he did it backwards. I'm going to give you a moment, but you know what? Best album of the year should have gone to Poet Society
But
or with
imagine
Taylor
that would
Swift.
have been insane.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That would have been crazy. Like a Uno reverse card of
Yeah.
awards. I feel like Swifties would have really liked that.
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, that was a Grammys. Like I say, I enjoy watching it for the music performances. That's the one thing I've always enjoyed about the Grammys because it's a lot more
Yeah.
music playing. But yeah, there were
hmm
a lot of picks that I was like, I question, but I said that's me. I'm not
Hmm.
part of the voting committee. I'm not a professional. I'm just a normal Joe Schmo listening to music that I enjoy. So we'll see what
Hmm.
happens. I think we got to start making a push, Tim, for MTV to make the video music awards and the movie awards big again.
Absolutely. Hey, we'll be a great tandem on the red carpet if they want to bring
Hmm.
it back.
Yeah,
Down.
yeah, no,
Easy.
for sure.
Yeah. It'd be a
Yeah.
great time. But hey, great take. I feel like MTV would certainly bring it back.
Mhm.
Good
They
skits,
will.
like you said. Good
Yeah,
skits. Would have been really
yeah.
good.
They will. So, and then sort of sticking with music and sort of what we talked about Super Bowl. We talked about Kendrick Lamar. He is performing the halftime show, and I think the one question, we could go over what songs he'll play. I think we'll have a lot of the same songs, Tim, but I think a little bit of a challenge. What do you think will be the first song that he opens his show to?
Boy. It's really tough with a lot of these performances to know whether or not they're gonna go with their brand new stuff or if they're gonna throw it back with like
Hmm.
original albums tracks. If I were to say Benji comes out with like money trees,
I
swimming
know.
pools, whatever. You know, uh, I feel like he does. It's gonna be such a stupid, boring answer because I know we have a take here with Taylor Swift, but I don't think he brings her out that quickly.
Hmm.
That's my thing. I don't think he brings her out
Yeah.
here that quickly. I think he starts with Not Like Us because it just gets everybody pumped up because it's new. It is overplayed. I will say
Hmm.
that. It's not overplayed for LeBron James because LeBron rocks that shit every day. He plays it more than
Uh,
anybody I've seen.
Probably.
So he'll be pumped up about that. But I feel like Not Like Us just seems like the entry where everybody's like, oh yeah, okay, and then because everybody dances to it
Hmm.
still. Like you saw all the celebrities.
Yeah.
Again, celebrities can be a little bit out of touch with what everybody else is feeling, but long story short, Not Like Us, I think is what he starts with. Boring answer, but I think that's what he does. What
Okay.
do you think, John?
Yeah, I didn't have that one at the beginning. I feel like he might play that at the end and just make it so big with like the
Mm.
fireworks coming out. Like that's just what I
Ooh.
picture, but I could also see it being the first one because like you said, it's the one that gets people moving. It's the one people know right now. And we saw it at the Grammys. Everybody was dancing to it. Taylor was dancing to it. So, but I'm between two. I think it's either going to be Mad City or Humble. I was listening to the
Mhm.
songs, listening to the beats. I'm like, okay, these are good ones to maybe start out that little, combo of all the songs he has to do. So, um, I think it's one of those. I was gonna do the one from the Black Panther movie, but I feel like that
Oh,
might
All the
be
Stars.
all the stars. I feel like
Yeah,
that
I
one might
almost
be
did
like
that
in the
one, man.
middle. I feel like that
Yeah,
will
I
be in the
almost
middle
did that
somewhere.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've used it on some shorts for us,
Yeah.
and it's a great little background tune.
Hmm.
And like you said, it's kind of like a subtle entry with a great beat.
Yeah.
So, just even that little rhythm to kind of bring him out. But I
Hmm.
could see that totally going in the middle of his tracks too.
Yeah.
I think it's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna
It's
be
tough.
tough, like I say, and like you say, it might be something we're not even thinking about that he's gonna put to open up the show. So, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him. I hope the take you had of him bringing Taylor out for Bad Blood comes to
Oh
fruition
yeah.
as well, because that'll break the internet. That'll break the
Oh, it
internet.
would. It
Yeah,
would. Yeah, all the Swifties would be ready.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I feel like that's a solid chance. I feel like they might do it. I think they
Hmm.
could,
They
but
could.
I don't know.
Uh,
We'll find out Sunday, John.
Yeah, we'll find out Sunday. So, hopefully everybody enjoys the Super Bowl, enjoys the halftime show. I think that's what a lot of us go there to see. But going on to the entertainment, Lively versus Baldoni. More stuff coming out, more juicy info. Baldoni having his own internet page with all his receipts. crazy to see. That's one of
Uh,
the craziest things I've ever seen anybody do because I'm like, man, you're just ready and you know what do you think of all this new information, Tim?
I'm good. I want to retitle this segment, John, Banter Gossip.
Banter gossip.
That's we got to do something like that. Yeah. Where we just have, some type of
It's all
celebrity
gossip.
gossip and yeah, Hollywood gossip. It's banter gossip here. But yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this again because he more than receipts, this dude made a website. Talk about
Yeah.
confidence in his side. You make a
Yeah.
damn website? Okay. Okay, about Baldoni. You got it, dude. And
Mhm.
on top of that, like he's didn't he post an apology letter
Mhm.
that Lively and Reynolds made for him
Yeah.
to publicly send?
Yeah.
It kind of perverted, no? Like just
Mhm.
hella weird.
Yeah.
Who does that? Here's your apology letter to me, and this is how you're gonna. It's like they're
Yeah.
acting like PR in their own scenario that they
Mhm.
created. It's like they want like there's control of something where you're a producer, director of something,
Yeah.
but then there's like this, and I'm glad he's not backing down. They've
Mhm.
tried going to judges to get this dismissed at this point. Judge
Mhm.
saying, "Hell no, we're gonna play this out because it's gonna be
Yeah.
great TV. Everybody's gonna be."
Yeah.
And another one that came out was Baldoni. He shared a text message from Ryan Reynolds that said, "How dare you ask my wife's weight?" And from my understanding, the only reason he asked for Blake Lively's weight was because of back problems, right?
Mhm.
He's trying to avoid that. There's a scene where he has to carry her, I believe, or lift her,
Mhm.
and he was, I guess, concerned. So that's why he
Yeah.
asked. And I don't know how he asked the question or posed it. I'm sure but at the same time, it's like, man, I don't know. I don't even know like how to talk about Ryan Reynolds' standpoint. He almost comes off as like a jealous prick with a lot of this. And I hate to say it because it's a guy that behind the camera always seemed kind of like, in interviews and stuff, he seemed fun,
Mhm.
seemed funny, talk about his kids. He
Yeah.
had, he's part owner of Wrexham. That's garnered great news.
Mhm.
But all of this is just dude, you're Ryan fucking Reynolds. Like, why are you showing up on set demanding? I don't
Yeah.
know.
It
Weird.
it
What
it
do you
it
think?
it's crazy to me, because it the way I sort of see it, it's just like this celebrity privilege, and just because they're these big names, I feel like they think they could get away with anything and do anything because from what I've read and I've seen, they're really trying to bully, Baldoni to give in, trying to bully the lawyers to not have the lawyer, question Blake Lively when I've heard this lawyer's a tough one. So Blake Lively's
Oh yeah. I've heard
in
that too.
for a rude awakening, and it's just like, you know, why did you guys let it develop this far, this publicly? Because, like I say, now there's no way
Mhm.
you can sort of hide from it. You could have taken care of everything behind closed doors, but you guys decided to make it public, decided to, both sides, and I think it started with Lively mostly, making this a public situation and issue when they could have just done it behind closed doors and nobody would have known. But now, how do you say? Baldoni has his own website. He's ballsy and brave to do that, and he knows he's not in the wrong at all. Um, it's funny because today with Vera, we were eating lunch and she was watching a video, and one of the text messages, because there's a lot of text messages, and like I said, it's sort of shouting out Ojai, but Baldoni says that he lives out in the country of Ojai. And we both like looked at each other and was like, yeah, that's not the country. It's Ojai. It's a city. It's more
Yeah,
farmland, but it's not country. It's not
right.
Texas. It's still SoCal, nice weather.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
You're still like
Yeah.
20 minutes from the beach. Like
Yeah, it's like, you go to the beach, you'll be in downtown Ventura pretty soon. So, but
yeah.
he has all the receipts. He seems like a, from what I've read, like I said, I want to look into it a little bit more, but he seems like a
Hmm.
genuine person, just trying to be successful for himself, his family, and Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, just douches. Like I hate to say it because I like
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds. We talked about it. I like Blake Lively's movies, but after this, if all this comes to be true, what they did, just like with Justin Tucker and a lot of other things, I'm gonna see them in a different way, and it's unfortunate because Ryan Reynolds has done a lot of great things. The Wrexham thing, he may have to step down because it's bad publicity for a team like that.
definitely. Yeah, in the small town in which Wrexham is, they don't want ownership like that either.
Hmm.
They would that would be really frowned upon because I'm sure
Yeah.
that they were even a bit skeptical of having big name celebrities come
Hmm.
and take over their team
Yeah.
because that's just near and dear to them. So at least that's what I've heard. So, kind of adding on to that too, it's the control's gone from that. It's gone from, uh, having Taylor Swift to be involved. Now, T Swift has claimed she had no involvement in this, but
Hmm.
supposedly there's more to
Yeah.
that. And than just her songs or,
Hmm.
kind of being involved. But I guess what had happened too was they fired an editor, a videographer editor,
Hmm.
and that was on like a Baldoni hire. And then they brought in one of Taylor Swift's video editors,
Mm.
who I guess has only music editing
Yeah.
for videos experience, not anything with film.
Yeah.
So evidently that didn't work out too great. So then I think that they ended up bringing somebody else in at the last minute, and it's like here's a week to try to figure it out. But again,
Yeah.
the control just it seems like it just was never ending. I can't
Hmm.
imagine what it was like for Baldoni.
Hmm.
Now, I don't want to claim too much to a side and then shoot myself in the face,
Yeah.
later on and be like, oh man, like, yeah,
Hmm.
it was true after all, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. The amount of evidence and and receipts Baldoni has with a whole damn website,
Hmm.
it's all there.
Yeah.
And it just they just come off as egotistical assholes at this
Hmm.
point with Lively and Reynolds. Hate to say it, like you said, I mentioned it, kind of looked up to, not really looked up, but admired, their work. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. But no surprise these days with Hollywood. We've seen crazier things.
Yeah, no, we've seen crazy things, and I think there's a lot of people sort of seeing all the receipts now and sort of like, man, this isn't looking good for Reynolds and Lively. And like you say, we're not going to shoot ourselves in the foot because we really don't know much other than what we see on TikTok, what we see online, news reports, which
Mhm.
a lot of them don't have everything. I think we have to wait till they go to court and they figure everything out. That's when we're going to get answers. But the trend right now isn't looking good for those two. It's looking great for Baldoni, and you know, there's a lot of
Mhm.
other celebrities, a lot of other podcasts that are really a lot more on top of this. And if they're already against Reynolds and Lively, it means something. Because, like I say, they look into it a lot closer than
Yeah.
what we probably have, and they're already not liking how they acted to Baldoni. So it'll be interesting to see where
Yeah.
this continues to go.
Absolutely. And, hey, if we're naming an entire segment, I'm sorry I dragged you into this, John, of banter gossip. I think with no NFL, this should be a little bit easier for us to
Yeah.
try to get into, a bit
Yeah.
more. And another telling thing is too, one last little point here for me, going back to the T Swift thing, is she says she's no longer friends with Blake Lively. So
Hmm.
if she's going to publicly say something like that, or at least have one of her PR people
Hmm.
say that, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
She knows, obviously her involvement was more, so she knows a little bit more than what she gave
Hmm.
off. And she's saying she's no longer friends with her. I mean, it's enough for you to
It
sever ties.
it is,
That's
and like I
big.
say, if Taylor Swift says, "Yeah, I'm not talking to that person. We're not friends," that means
Mhm.
there's something to it,
Oh
because
yeah.
last year, Lively Reynolds, they were in her Super Bowl suite, This year,
Hmm.
I've heard rumors of like who's in her suite this year. They're saying Lively and Reynolds still are, so we'll see because that will
Ooh,
sort of say a lot, if they are or aren't.
yeah. I
Um,
won't like that.
yeah. But it's
Curious
the same
though.
thing, it's Taylor Swift is pushing herself away from this because she doesn't want to get involved because she knows it's going to be messy. I think if it was a clean, like, yeah, you're right, Lively, she would have supported her girl, but I think there's a lot of question marks, when she doesn't support her. And like you say, if she was also involved in some part of it for even for a little bit, it won't look good for her, so she has to sort of take herself away from it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, hey, there's another thing, John. Let's pay attention to who's in T Swift's
Yeah.
suite besides Mama Kelsey
Mama
and
Kelsey.
Papa Kelsey, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jason.
You think they'll be
Yeah,
in
we'll
that
see.
suite, or you think Eagles get
Ooh,
them their own
they'll
suites?
get their own.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You know,
I don't
because the
know. That's
Kelsey.
yeah, because that's tough. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Eagles maybe go through, and then I guess you just put them in. I don't know the owner's suite, or just
Yeah.
give them their own at that point.
Maybe. Yeah.
His media might get him his
Yeah.
own.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
It's
We'll
always
see what
interesting.
side he
It's
takes.
always
He's
interesting to see
pretty
who's in those suites. You know.
always, always.
Yeah.
But I think this T Swift suite is going to be a little bit extra,
Yeah.
um, with who's in there. But yeah, even from that standpoint, I would be kind of sh well, maybe I wouldn't be because they have no shame at this point with Reynolds and Lively if they show up like it's nothing. But I don't know.
I don't. I think even if I was in their shoes, I was going through this. If I was invited, I wouldn't go because all
Yeah.
cameras would be on you the whole time, and it's just going to be people talking shit about you because, like I say, podcasts are really focused on this. They're going to be showing the videos of them at the Super Bowl and talking negatively about them because of what they're reading on these reports. So,
Oh yeah.
do you want to give them more fuel? I don't think so. I think they're probably going to stay away from the public until this really gets resolved. So, but who knows? Like you say, they may have no shame. They may think they're in the right. Everything they're saying is correct, and they're gonna go to it.
How about T Swift invites Baldoni into the suite instead?
Ima
That would be
Imagine.
crazy.
So we got to keep a
Oh
lookout.
man. Yeah. No, that's
Got to
that's
keep
big
a look.
news. I think I'm
Yeah.
more excited for that now than the actual game. That and halftime. Because yeah, I'm like Christian McCaffrey at this point. Can both teams lose? So yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. But yeah, there's a lot going on with this lawsuit. It's sort of like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard lawsuit. It was talked about for
Oh yeah.
weeks while the trial was going on. So I think once the trial starts, we get a lot more of that concrete evidence and facts. There will be a lot more discussions, a lot more banter gossip that we'll have. But, Hollywood, always banter gossip. There's always something going on, so
Yeah.
there's always some good takes there. But yeah, we'll see. Any other gossip that you've heard, Tim? For me, this is sort of what I
Hmm.
think is taking over Hollywood. So
Yeah. No, this is pretty much the big deal right now.
yeah.
Besides what, Kanye at the Grammys and
Hmm.
who won at the Grammys. Um, yeah, no, I think that this is pretty big. I would love to
Yeah.
add something, but I think leaving it there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to come up with more topics, and I'm sure you too will, John, for this category. Because like we said, with no NFL, we hold that near and dear to our hearts.
Mhm.
And when there's a little bit less to talk about with that, there's more to talk about with other things. And
Yeah.
clearly we can gossip a lot. This is banter time. So
Yeah.
banter gossip.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So we'll see. There's always something going on in Hollywood, music, movies, TV, everywhere. So there'll be more stuff going on. Like I say, the Oscars. They happen, I think, the week after the Super Bowl, so that'll be coming up as
Right.
well. So seeing how that goes. But yeah, that's what we have for this week's show. Thank you everybody who joined us today. Like always, if you guys haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Once we hit 300 subscribers on YouTube, we will have our first giveaway. So also follow our social medias, which are all in the description below. Instagram, TikTok, those are our two big ones. Um, we will be probably starting a Twitch channel soon with Banter on the Rocks, where every now and then we'll do some live recordings when there's some breaking news during the week. And even some of these shows, we might start doing some live recordings every now and then to give you guys an opportunity to join us, ask some questions during the show, especially without a lot of football.
Yeah.
We need more conversations, more topics to talk about. So bring them on over and always feel free to comment. We enjoy the comments. There's a lot of stuff going on. Um, what one of the most recent comments, and we can sort of discuss it next week. And it was with the Jerry Jones take and some of the language he uses of how some people are supporting his language and not knowing what others think, and it's crazy
Yeah.
to really see how there's still people that think that way, the old ways in certain parts of the country. So, appreciate,
Right.
I don't have his name, but whoever did make that comment, to sort of clarify what Jerry Jones was saying. If he doesn't know why we're all not mocking, but making fun of Jerry Jones, maybe look it up a little bit just because you should be aware of what you're saying if you're using that language out in your everyday.
Yeah. I shout out Istaphobe. Yeah, that's the name. I think I'm saying that right. Thank you very much for the comment, and we always appreciate it. And again, dual meanings to words.
Yeah.
It always happens. Some words are a little bit modernized now, and
Yeah.
if you're the head of a Hugh America's team, I think you should be a little bit more wary of the
Mhm.
words you choose.
Yeah.
Just yeah, and just briefly, it's an old oil term. You found the glory hole when you hit oil. So pleasures come in different eyes
Different,
these days. So
different levels, different areas. Yeah, like I say, it makes sense. Very old school. I don't think we live
yeah,
back in the old West anymore. Us here in California and probably a good amount of the state probably hear that word and think of the most inappropriate thing because that's what it's really connected to. But those old school people that think
yep,
it's drilling for oil and hitting that hole, kudos to you for you guys still using it that way. Just be
treasure.
aware of be aware of how you're using it because it might not be the treasure you're wanting to look for
Right.
for some.
Yeah, you might hear something a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing.
Mhm.
Modernization of words,
Yeah.
it needs to be, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
No,
adapted
but
to.
we appreciate the comments. We appreciate, clarification. We appreciate you guys calling us out on our takes or some of our, comments, things we say. That's what Banter on the Rocks is. We like to banter. A lot of the stuff we do believe, some of it we're just making jokes, but we also do believe it, so and think it's true.
Mhm.
So I'll always leave comments, engage with us. Like we've said, if you ever want to join the show, let us know. We could have you guys join, talk a little bit about whatever you want, banter a bit. Like I say, we do it in a friendly way where we're not here to really make enemies. We just want to engage in fun, interesting conversations.
Absolutely. In guesting on the show is not like you're required to be here 2 hours.
Yeah.
If you just want to give 10 minutes of your time, 15, 20,
Hmm.
whatever it is, and it's a topic you want to talk about, perfect. Because,
Yeah.
it's easy to zoom you in, and, you know, and then here you are talking to us.
Yeah.
So it's easy as that. Many shows have different guests, and you're not locked up to a certain length of
Hmm.
time. You can come on here
Yeah.
and say one sentence like "we suck" and
Yeah.
then bounce. I mean, I
Bounce.
think that'd be kind of funny.
That'd be fine with us
You
too.
know? Yeah, and then we'll analyze that and
Yeah.
then talk about delivery and the
Yeah.
way you did it. So,
Yeah.
it's all fun here, clearly.
Yeah.
But I know we are having a great time with it, and that's what this is all about. So,
Mhm.
banter's banter, and
Yeah.
we're here to stay.
It's part of everyday life. So, thank you guys again for listening. We appreciate you guys. Like I say, watch us on YouTube, listen to us on Apple Podcasts. Videos come out once a weekly, and we always post shorts to give you guys teasers. So, if you just want to log in, look at, or listen to a few different takes of what you're interested in, please stop by. Let us know how you like it. Yeah.
Absolutely. We love talking to
Awesome.
new people.
Yes.
Thank you.
We do. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and hopefully, everybody enjoys the Super Bowl. And we'll talk about that when we come back next week.
Absolutely. Enjoy the
Yes.
Super
All
Bowl.
right. Later.